Amplified.
All right, welcome everybody to the Amner Martinez podcast. My name is Amner Martinez, and this is
Sensei Kenji.
Sensei Kenji. And yes, and this is a special episode because we're launching coffee.
Right.
It's a long story, not that long. A kid from Perry, his name
Amner
is
likes
Walter.
long. Amner likes really long stories.
So this guy from Perry, he's from Guatemala. He was born in Perry. Walter Juarez. His parents are from Guatemala. They bought some land, and now they're bringing coffee to the middle of Iowa.
Right.
And so we partnered with them, and now we have
Our own
coffee.
brand of coffee.
Put it on Kenji, Liliana. Yeah, there you go. That's
Okay, right
the
here.
coffee.
Right here. I'll show it. Okay.
And medium roast dark coffee, and then he has another. Anyways, he tells the story on this next episode. But this is kind of exciting, no? Who would have thought that?
We'll be making coffee.
Yeah,
Or like branding coffee.
yeah.
Right.
That's
This is something that other people can do too.
yes.
Right,
He'll
so if you
explain
wanna-
it.
If you want to, yeah, he'll explain the whole process. But if you want to have your own coffee that you want to, for branding purposes, you can hit him up.
Yeah.
It's called Mountain High JZ Coffee. You can hit him up, and then he can get you set
And
up
make it
with
work.
these, and then you can make your own label. He can design your label. This one, we did it right here in the office.
Mm-hmm.
You see that color? It says in the small print. You barely can see it, but it
Very
says the
small.
color scheme. This color scheme is not an endorsement of the Iowa Hawkeyes. So please note, it is not.
So we're neither fans nor
Nor haters.
Rivals,
Yeah,
haters
we're not
of the
haters.
Hawkeyes.
We just it just happened to look a little bit like that, but it's not an
we want
endorsement.
to make sure that it's not.
We just want to make sure that if you're a Cyclone, you can get our coffee.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
not
yeah.
Get salty about it.
So, but if you think 3 years ago or 4 years ago, hey, we're gonna have coffee, man, you would be like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
That's silly.
Right.
Like it's not in the realm, but now it's real.
Right.
Now-
And that happened in a very short time too.
Yeah.
It was like a couple weeks. Like, hey, just met this guy. We're having our own coffee.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah. So he's got the infrastructure to make it happen. And you just gotta want to do it. And we want to give it to like friends and guests. So our clients and our guests of Infinite Resources and Amplified and all that stuff, if you're lucky, you're gonna get a bag. And if you want one, hit us up and we'll sell it to you. Why not, right?
Yeah.
It's good coffee. By the way, specialty coffee. So this episode is for like coffee nerds. Like
Right.
he breaks down the process of the everything from
You're either a coffee nerd or a pretentious fuck.
yes, whichever if you're a pretentious person, then
piece
you
of
learn
shit.
something.
Yeah, right.
You'll learn something because he breaks down the entire process. I go with him step by step, and that's why Guatemala is known for a specialty coffee. Because it's not a commercial coffee or it's not, so he breaks it down. So it's a very informative coffee episode with Mountain High JZ Coffee. I'm excited, man.
Or
Sky's the
You're
limit.
wired. So looks like you're wired already.
I've had a couple of cups already. And it's strong.
Yeah,
It's kind of funny how he came in and he's like, "Oh man, this is strong, man." And then we're like, "Oh yeah."
like oh for real.
Let's start opening it up.
Cutting lines of
Yeah.
this coffee.
So,
Oh, yeah.
anyways, I'm wired. All right. So, without further ado, this next episode, Walter Juarez, thank you for coming in and educating us and working together with us. I'm sure we're going to work more and more with him. So, hit us up if you want some Guatemalan Infinite Resources coffee. And I hope you enjoy this episode. Share it with people. It's a great story. This is the American dream right here.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. This is
In a
fucking
cup.
Crazy. Yeah. The American dream in a cup.
All right.
Wow, man.
Cheers.
Fucking, yeah. Fucking,
All right.
the fucking Guatemalan Don Draper.
Hope you enjoy this episode. share it, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for coming. I mean, I always appreciate people making time, because there's no pay here or anything. It's just telling stories. So I appreciate you coming. But let's kind of get started with a little bit about you and who you are. So you're from Perry. I went to Perry High School and lived in Perry. My parents are there. I came to Perry when I was like 15, though. You were born in Iowa.
I was born in Perry.
In Perry? Is there a hospital in Perry?
There's a hospital in Perry, but they stopped delivering babies the last month I was born. So July.
Really?
July 19th.
No.
They stopped.
Really?
They
Okay.
say I was one of the last babies delivered. But
Really? Okay, because I always thought, when were you, what time were you born? Here, let me put this.
in 1995.
1995?
July, yep. On a nice, warm summer day.
Fuck, bro, I'm old. Because I got there in 1995. We got there in 95. I got there in September of 95. So I'm like 14 years older than you. God damn it.
Okay, yeah, we'll cut that out of the podcast.
Yeah. So 95, you were born in Perry. So you're like a different kind of your point of view as a Latino is way different than mine, right? And then, you're first generation
First generation.
Iowan.
Iowan, yeah.
Crazy. So for those who don't know, Perry, Iowa is a small town. There was a big migration in the like early 90s to mid 90s, right? A lot of Latinos. That's when my parents came straight to Perry for the meatpacking plant. So tell us a little bit about you. So Walter, Guatemalan. Tell us a little about you.
So, yeah, my name is Walter Juarez. I was born in Perry.
Uh-huh.
My parents are from Guatemala.
Uh-huh.
Went to Perry High School. I'm sure we went to the same high school.
Uh-huh.
Really enjoyed Perry. I think growing up in a small town has a lot of benefits.
Yeah.
Versus the big town, and like you said, there was a big migration. So I think we were lucky to see that to grow up with other first generation Americans, Iowans, and also people who migrated there, who were there, from teenagers. So, then I went to University of Iowa after for school. Eventually went to Chicago to learn the logistics industry.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of where I ramped up the coffee business. Was I kind of, I guess I'll backtrack a little bit. But back when I graduated high school, that's when I first purchased some farm ground in Guatemala.
Oh, okay. So you started this whole coffee thing.
Yep.
It's not just like recently. You just like, oh, I'm gonna do this.
It's been a slow, steady scale, right? Because obviously, when you're creating something, it's an idea, right? So
Yeah.
it starts from a thought,
Right.
paper,
Right.
to action, to networking, to growing, to developing. So yeah, it's been quite the process to get where we're.
So when was your first time that you were like coffee? When was it? The first
thought of coffee was back in 2013. Just graduated high school, and my brother approached me saying, "Hey, there's some land, like, would you want to invest in?"
Is the older brother?
Yep.
Okay.
He's like, "Would you want to invest in some land in Guatemala? Someone has it for sale." One of our relatives was like, I'm not sure, just selling just a small pot, like 1 acre.
So you were like 18.
Yeah, I was like 18, and I was like, well, long term, as you're growing up, I always knew I had the entrepreneur mindset.
Okay.
Just, growing up.
What were you doing when you were 18, Kenji? We're doing jack. I was lost. I was a lost soul, and you were already kind of thinking.
Well, I was lost too, but I was trying to.
I wasn't thinking buying land.
I was trying to figure out, like, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to go to college, because that's what they, that's what everyone tells you to do.
That's what our parents tell. Yeah.
And then I was like, well, I just knew in the long term it'd probably be a good idea. And it wasn't very expensive, right? It was 1 acre. It wasn't like a big investment. Like I guess, I don't know if you worked at Stein or anything like that.
I did one day.
Yeah, one day. Well, I think that's kind of where I grew to love agriculture. A little
Oh, okay.
Kinda, understanding where we live. That's kind of how I've always been kind of like I've always been a business, kind of business.
You always
oriented.
see like the business part
Yes, yes.
of something. Yeah.
And I just knew, okay, resources, Iowa agriculture.
Mhm.
Growing up, going to Guatemala, every summer, since I
Uh-huh.
was a kid, like I was like, okay, Guatemala resources, coffee.
Right.
Um,
Can
know,
you grow coffee in Iowa? Because Iowa's supposed to be like a very
The soil's great in Iowa.
Right.
It would probably grow,
uh-huh.
but it wouldn't be like high in caffeine or anything.
Okay, let's talk about that. So, what do you need to like for the coffee? So we're having some dope ass coffee, by the way, and we'll talk about all this stuff and the kinds of coffee and all this stuff. But so what do you need? Like what is the weather?
The ideal climate.
Yeah, ideal
So,
climate. Yes.
So coffee, kind of like corn. There's a corn belt, right? So
Okay.
that means it's only grown in certain parts of the world. It's the same with coffee. There's a coffee belt. So it's only grown in certain regions of the world. So the ideal climate is it needs to have shade. So it needs to have shade. It needs to have a lot of sun. It has to get water every day. At least not every day, but at least
There's
certain
no
amount of
shade
water.
here.
Yeah, there's no shade here, and it
Okay.
needs to be usually like in an elevation. So-
Elevated.
yeah. So it's pretty flat here. So that's Guatemala is known for some of the best coffees in the world.
Right. Yes.
Because of it's got actually 8 different growing regions in Guatemala. So
Really.
they're famous for you can go to 8 different parts of Guatemala and try a different cup of coffee because the agriculture is so different in different parts of Guatemala. But
How high? Like so. Let's kind of relatively speaking, like Denver, right? Like mile high,
mhm.
Colorado. Like how many feet are
So-
we talking about?
So yeah, like so usually it's measured meters above sea level.
Okay.
So usually our land is about 5,000 feet. Like our coffee microlots are about 5,000 feet into the mountain.
Okay.
So that's about the tip of the mountain in Guatemala. But comparing it to the Rocky Mountains, like the tip of the Rockies about 15,000 feet. So
Okay,
obviously
okay.
it's a lot higher here, but Guatemala has a lot of mountains, a lot of hills.
But what Guatemala is closer to the equator, no? So does that
Correct.
make a difference?
It makes a difference in, I don't know about elevation, but it obviously makes a difference in the.
Does that make it closer to the moon and the sun? If you're closer to the equator? Okay, this is why I ask. This is why I ask. Is because I remember when I was a kid in Guatemala, and I remember like this is probably the most wonderful memory I have as a kid. I would say perfect memory. Is that I played like hide and seek with the moon. Yeah, and I remember this clearly. Running and in Guatemala it gets really dark, like
Early.
dark. Yeah, because at least at that time in the 80s, street lights. They're not that many. So when it gets dark, it gets dark. Sorry. So then I started to figure out that is it possible that it's because it's a high altitude and closer to the equator that the moons over there are like
Brighter.
bigger, brighter? No. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
I do kind of get what you're saying. Yeah. Sometimes when you're down there, you feel like the moon's just right above you.
Right.
Versus over here, it's like.
Yeah, it's far.
Yeah.
So anyways, back to the coffee. So it needs shade then. So it couldn't be grown here. It would
No.
grow, but it wouldn't be.
It would grow like it would probably come out of a pot. Like if you put it in a pot, it
Mhm.
would grow, but it doesn't. It wouldn't have. So like Guatemala, it's rich in got a lot of volcanoes. So it's rich in volcanic soil, which
Mhm.
means volcanic soil is very high in potassium, which you need to grow coffee.
So Guatemala's got the perfect.
Nitrogen. Yep, they got the perfect
elements.
elements. It's so high up in the mountain that it gets the
Mhm.
natural water residue, like that when you walk through a field in the morning and it's naturally wet.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives like higher elevation coffee gives it better unique taste. More body is what they say. And
Yeah. So which coffee are we having right now?
so right now we're having the medium dark.
The medium dark coffee, which it is very strong.
I'm glad you drink your coffee black. I'm a black coffee drinker.
Yes. Well, sometimes I put some sugar on it, which I guess some people look down on that, but
But that's how you know though it's a good cup of coffee when you can drink it black. That's how you should be able to drink a good cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
When you're adding sugars and personally,
Right.
everyone has their own preference.
Yeah. I put some sugar on this one, but last few days it's been like black. I'm like, let me taste this coffee, and it does taste really good. Like you can just sip on it. So we're having a medium dark. So then there's another one. Then what is this one?
Yep, that one's the medium roast. So we offer
Medium roast and then medium dark roast.
Correct.
Okay, so this is the stronger one.
Yep, that's a little stronger one.
Okay. Yeah, when you came and dropped it off, you're like, that's strong, man. We're like, oh shit. But yeah, Guatemala is known like, where. So Colombia obviously is known for coffee.
Yep.
Guatemala, like where does it rank in, obviously you're from, you're Guatemalan, so
Yeah, maybe a little biased.
but where would you put it? Like give us the top 3.
So
Top 5.
top 5. So like on paper,
Mm-hmm.
you usually describe the countries by the top producing countries, right? So the countries that produce the most coffee beans are probably the ones that are going to put the most attention to quality.
I
But,
see.
I would say the biggest producer of coffee right now is between Brazil and Colombia.
Really?
Yep, they're the ones that produce the most coffee.
Uh-huh.
They're more of a commercial grade, right? So they're just a little history of coffee. There's Arabica beans and Robusta beans.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the two main types of beans, right? One, the Robusta is more high in caffeine. The taste isn't there.
Uh-huh.
The caffeine is there, so they use that more for cafes, instant coffees.
Oh, okay.
Versus, Arabica coffees are more specialty grades. Right?
Uh-huh.
They're grown usually at higher elevations, usually more like hand-picked.
Okay.
So in terms of quality, I would say like Brazil and Guatemala have great quality, and Colombia have great quality coffees. I think Guatemala is more known for just specifically specialty coffees.
Okay.
More Arabica beans only. You don't really see Robusta beans in Guatemala.
I see.
Versus, and then Africa is a very big coffee growing country. As well.
Okay.
So they grow a lot of coffee there, a lot of good Kenyan.
Okay.
Beans, and they're known for great coffee on that side of the world. And then, but those are the ones you'll see the most. So
Okay.
Colombia, Brazil, Guatemala, Central America is heavy right now on producing coffee.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
so like Costa Rica is growing really good coffee right now. Even Honduras is starting to produce some coffee.
Yeah. Even them foods.
Well, I mean, it's good to see, but they're starting to care more and see the value.
Right.
In a good cup of coffee.
Right. So you kind of mentioned that a little bit because it's from like an outside point of view, Guatemala has high quality coffee, but you mentioned that if you go to Guatemala, people aren't drinking Folgers, right? What is it? Is there like a turning point that they're starting to realize that this is a big commodity, and like, is that happening in Central America or?
Yes, I think they understand the value,
Mm-hmm.
because obviously everyone in Guatemala, 90% of the rural community of like the campesinos produce coffee or are in the coffee industry
Really?
in some way. Yeah, 90%. So they obviously see the value, right? It either pays them or they know some sort of value. But when it comes to drinking, I think it comes to a price thing. Obviously. The wages are different there, so and quality coffees obviously cost them more money. So
okay.
that's why I think people like to drink café instant coffee,
Uh-huh,
just
uh-huh.
because they know it's usually more cheaper.
Because they only see it like in the fields, and they don't get to have it
Correct.
as a final product.
As a final product, correct. Yep.
Okay.
And that's something that we're trying to solve. That's kind of how we entered into the business with a goal of wanting to help the farmers see more of the supply chain, understand the value, and instead of them just growing some coffee and then selling it to the mill, we've kind of empowered them into showing them, hey, you own this coffee, you can pick it yourself. We can show them how to create like a washing station, how to process their own coffee. It gives it a little more value, and then we buy it from them.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So the coffee gets the seed, right? How long does it take to grow a plant? Like, walk me through
3 years.
3 years for
Yeah,
one
so-
plant to give you coffee.
So I'll walk you through it. So
Jeez,
So-
that's a lot.
yeah,
You cannot.
yeah, because of the winter.
The winter will kill it, right?
The winter will
Yeah. So 3 years. So this is coffee that took 3 years to make at least.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So it takes. So I'll show you some pictures later, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that same plot that we purchased back that I told you so many years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Not until 2018 we went back and we're like, okay, well, it had coffee, but it's like café antiguo, so it's like it wasn't producing as much, right? The old coffee plants, fun fact, they live about 40 years. They'll produce coffee for about 40 years. But as they get older, you got to prune them and you got to, give them its proper nutrients. But there's
A coffee plant. I thought you meant like a factory, like not plant. Oh, like a plant
a
gives
plant
you
will produce
coffee.
for-
Sorry,
Oh yeah, not a
I partied hard last night. I had too many fucking shots. But okay, so a coffee plant will give you coffee for 40 years.
Yep.
Damn, that's a lot.
It can produce. Yeah, if you take good care of it, it'll produce.
But then you gotta cut it off like after.
Yeah, then you just cut it, replant. So that's what we did. 2018, we replanted. So we wanted to understand what it. It's a new industry to us. It was, and we wanted to understand what it was from putting it into the ground.
Yeah,
a little plant
yeah.
Like this big
Mm-hmm.
to now, a producing plant.
Oh,
A producing plant.
okay.
Take about 3 years for it to yield. So it's been about 3.5 years. So this year, it gave us a pretty decent yield. But next year, after like 4 years, it starts fully like a full yield.
Okay. But you harvest every year out of the plant?
Yep.
Okay, so once it's grown 3 years, then
It'll
it's
keep producing.
oh nice.
So after that, the typical, I guess the typical producer, they grow their own beans, right? And then they'll sell it to somebody, what they call a coyote. They'll drive around the valley and buy beans, which is what we do as well. But we also took it a step further and are starting to process our own beans, right? So that's what we're trying to teach other farmers. We're trying to improve the overall quality in our growing region in Jutiapa, because it's a new coffee growing region.
Yeah.
So
I saw, and we'll put pictures up. No, can you you can share the pictures, and then when we're talking, you just kind of put it in it. But it looks red right there. What stage is this?
yeah.
This one.
So
What stage? At what stage are we talking about?
when
here?
it turns, so the coffee plant. So I'll give you the cycle. So
Sure.
so like right now, a coffee harvest is from November to about March. So right now it's going. We just got done picking in February. So when it's red, it means you start picking. Red means
Okay.
ready to pull. Right, beans ready to come off. Green means it's like too raw yet, right? It hasn't developed yet. Está como maduro. And
So inside this, there's the
2 beans.
2 beans.
In
Okay.
each cherry, there's 2 beans.
Okay.
Yep. And then you measure. There's a device that measures the sugar content in the bean. So that's when when it's at a certain sugar content, you can pull the bean.
Oh.
Obviously, not a lot of farmers don't have these type of equipments, right? So it's more of a feel thing. You go up to the cherry, you feel it,
Huh.
you know, and you look at
It's
you
puro
look at the end.
tacto, no? Like
Yeah,
you
you
just-
look at the end to see if it's ready to pull, because
Uh-huh.
you don't want to pull too early.
yeah.
You want the coffee bean to fully develop with its natural sugars.
Okay, so can you affect the caffeine on the coffee, or you just kind of go with what it gives you? I mean,
Yeah,
how do you make it
That's a good
stronger?
so that's a very good question. That goes with the picking. So what I learned, number one things I learned as, you know, being a coffee producer is, you can only improve the quality up until you pick the bean. After you pick the bean, there's no more improving the quality.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
so
okay,
everything's
okay.
kind of, the way you improve quality is by making sure you're putting appropriate nitrogen, you know, phosphorus and different nutrients into the ground, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Making sure that, you know, you get a nice red cherry,
Yeah.
you know, and then you pick it. But caffeine comes with the type of plant,
Uh
and where it's grown to. So
I see.
higher up in the mountain, you usually get, you know, higher in caffeine because it gets because the plant's doing what it should do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it gets its proper nutrients,
Right,
water.
right.
But you know, for some places, for example, like Colombia and Brazil, their coffees are more grown on a flatter land, and they use like commercial equipment.
Oh, because
John
they're
Deere's to
just
pick
doing
it.
massive
Yeah,
amount
yeah,
of.
yeah.
Okay.
Guatemala, that's non-existent. You can't. You know how hilly it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everything is handpicked.
Oh, wow.
So that's why it's known for, you know,
specialty coffee.
Everything's handpicked. Everything's sun dried on a patio. You know, manual labor. People are moving, raking the beans every day. You know, it's all.
So this coffee is kind of like the version of what is this? It's not tequila, but it's mezcal. Mezcal. It's así, no? Like it's done by hand.
by
It's
hand,
not
everything.
right.
Yep, it's not
I see.
commercialized. So
So the plant grows, you pick it, and El Coyote drives around and buys the beans from the farmers. Then
and then the farmer will never see it again. So that's something that we're trying to solve, right? Where instead we're like, hey, we've been teaching people don't pick so early, because we'll go around and see like people picking bags and they've got a lot of green ones.
because they want to
That's not good.
sell, you know, they
Exactly,
want to sell.
exactly.
They
They
need
they get paid to pick by the day.
the
day.
not by
Or-
the quality of the
Yeah,
coffee.
For example, the picker,
Uh-huh.
the farmer hires pickers to pick his farm. Those guys get paid by weight. So what they do is fill the bottom stuff with green.
Sure,
the,
sure.
The top, you know, the top
Yeah.
they show you the good stuff.
Uh-huh.
That does no good for, I mean, you know, for quality
Mm-hmm.
purposes. But so we're kind of going around telling people, hey, don't pick that yet. It's too
Uh-huh.
early. You know.
So when you say wash, what like you
washed,
dry it
yeah.
first, you wash it.
Yep. So there's different processing methods that the big, what you call beneficios do, the mills, what you call a mill here.
Uh-huh.
But you can do it small batch at home. So that's what we're doing. So you pick the coffee cherries within 24 hours. You're supposed to put it through a depulper. I'll show you.
Uh-huh.
It's a little machina that you know, by hand, depulper, that breaks the red and it takes the bean out, and then so it'll take the bean out and then it'll throw the casca
Oh, okay.
somewhere else, right? And then all the beans get held up in one spot, right?
Yeah.
So the beans have honey on them, right? It's natural honey.
Uh-huh.
So you can either get it washed, put it through like a pila, right? A special
Uh-huh.
pila.
Right.
And you wash your coffees. You move them around until it's got no more natural usage. That's what you call a washed coffee.
Oh, okay.
Or you can, and then the next step after that would be to dry. Right?
Uh-huh.
After you wash, you throw it on the patio and dry.
Let it dry.
Yep. For about 20 days or something. It's got to get to a certain humidity.
Damn. Okay.
Certain humidity. Or you can, another method is honey. After you depulp, you leave the honey on there. You don't wash it. You let it dry naturally with its honey.
Oh.
Gives it a nice, delicious, sweeter flavor. Gives it more value,
Which
So-
one do you do? Do you do both? Or do
We
you
do both. We do both.
Okay.
And then the next step after it dried, it's called parchment. Then
Uh-huh.
you do have to take it to the mill,
Okay.
to get it cleaned and get it ready for export.
Okay.
But we're teaching, we're trying to empower other farmers that, hey, instead of selling your beans, why not, create that extra value.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Show them
yeah.
how to do it.
An extra step,
And then we'll gladly pay it.
right, right.
Pay you more for that because we know you put some more time and
Right,
the
right,
quality's
right.
there.
Yeah, because you have a bag. You don't have it with you, do you? With the green beans, and like it
Oh, I
says
do,
the the name of the farmer. So do you want to grab it
Yeah,
real
let me grab
quick? Yeah.
Work.
Okay, so
Oh,
this
green coffee.
beans,
Yep.
it's got the region Huehuetenango, Guatemala. That's like a Mayan word, right? Huehuetenango es un dialecto, no? It's like a dialect. And the farmer, Ovidio Reyes, altitude, varietals. What is that? Varietals.
The varietal, just
Varietal.
the type of a seed, right? There's just different type of plants.
Uh-huh,
that
okay.
Some produce different yields. Some have different tastes. Some are
The process, full patio, sun dry, okay.
patio dried.
Okay.
Because some people, big commercial people,
Uh-huh.
they'll just put their coffees to dry in a machine. know. But we like to do it natural.
Right. Nice. So then this isn't you didn't just like start buying coffee and you're going from the first step. You see the coffee throughout the whole process.
Yes.
So I think this is really cool because even though how for granted do we take coffee, you think?
Very, very much for granted.
Because I'm sure some people are gonna be like, coffee, like let's talk about coffee, but tell us about like how big coffee is in the industry. And
Yes, like you said, a lot of people take coffee for granted. They're
Mhm.
just so, not necessarily for granted, because everyone knows that they enjoy it and it gives them that extra morning kick, but they don't understand how much work it took to get you that final cup of coffee. But yeah, to get give some people some understanding of the coffee industry. It's the second most traded commodity in the world.
Yeah.
So
after
after I think cotton is the first one.
cotton,
Yeah, I
okay.
think cotton's the first one.
Even corn, because corn's pretty high.
Yeah,
No,
corn is up there. So it's not always the second,
Uh-huh.
but it's between the top.
but it's
five.
like
yeah,
that's
they
how
switch
high it
around.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's it's been traded since like the 1800s or probably earlier.
Right.
Since it was discovered. But yeah, it's the United States just became the number one consumer of coffee goods. So that kind of as we were learning the industry, we obviously knew there was a demand. But here in the United States, it's been picking up a lot. But globally, it's always been
It's huge.
huge. It's the second most drank product behind water. So
Crazy. Yeah, and when I mean for granted is like it's just there.
yes.
Like the coffee's there. Let's make some coffee. But to understand its value, like you gotta have people like you that can break it down. So then you're like, oh shit. It is like part of our lives. And also it's a huge industry, like giant, right? So
It's a huge industry. You'll see coffee just about in every household in the world. I heard there's
Yeah.
a fact that there's like a coffee bag or something in just about every house in the world.
crazy.
So that's something that I really enjoy talking about coffee. Is a lot of business meetings, people go get coffee. Everywhere coffee is just a form of joy. I tell people, right? I'd like to tell people coffee doesn't have a language barrier. We can be anywhere in the world right now, and we won't have to speak the same language. But if somebody both served us a cup of coffee, we would just smile at each other
Yeah.
and enjoy it, and understand.
It gives you a little bit of a high,
Yeah.
and it alters your
State of mind.
your state of
Yeah.
mind and shit. So
But the value behind it is
it's quite remarkable. Now, the rarity of Guatemalan coffee, that's kind of where you tapping into something too, right? Because Guatemalan coffee is not like everywhere.
correct.
I think I've seen it, but it's not like you can just go anywhere and get it, right?
It kind of
Tell us why is rare? Why the rarity? Sorry.
So it goes. I'm tapping a little bit back to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's rare. It's funny because, like you said, a lot of people in Guatemala that they like to stick to their traditional coffees, but in
Mhm.
reality, in the coffee world, in the coffee industry, people want Guatemalan coffees, right? From all over the world,
Mm-hmm.
So I've worked with other producers as well who kind of guide me in Guatemala.
Mm-hmm.
But when I've been to their farms, I've seen people show up from Japan, from France, from
Really?
Italy, from all over the world just to come check out these coffee fields in
Mhm.
Guatemala.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the coffee is just so unique and where it's grown, and it's always got good taste, and it's all hand picked, and then those are some of the things why the Guatemalan coffee is so
It's so
sought out for
attractive,
in the
right?
world,
Yeah.
Um,
Kind of like wine, right? Like
Correct,
wine,
yep.
it needs the right amount of.
correct. Wine and the coffee world are very similar.
Mm-hmm.
Coffee gets cupped, so I'm learning how to cup coffees and give it a grade.
What do you mean by cupped?
So kind of like wine, you do wine tastings.
Oh, okay.
Wine gets graded on a certain scale. So same with coffee.
Okay.
Coffee gets graded on a scale of 0 to 100.
Mm-hmm.
So Guatemalan coffees, to give you an idea, are usually graded like 80 and above points. So out of
Oh,
100. So
really?
anything under 80 is considered commercial grade.
Oh.
Everything above 80 is considered specialty grade.
Oh, so it's
So-
like certified specialty coffee. It's not just called specialty coffee just
Yeah,
because it's.
It gets
Oh.
cupped. I mean, when I work with bigger clients who buy these green roasted beans for their
Uh-huh.
roasteries,
Yeah.
we go through these sensory analysis, is what they call it.
Uh-huh.
We'll do a special cupping. They'll grade it themselves. I get it graded by professional Q graders,
Okay.
to give me an exact flavor profile and a grade.
Wow.
Kind of
That's crazy. There's so much.
there's so much to
And that's why I mean by, maybe it's just me, but like you don't realize everything that goes behind a good cup of coffee. So from now on, I'm gonna enjoy my coffee a little bit different, I think. But another interesting thing that kind of, I mean, obviously we're both from Guatemala.
Yes.
So that's why I'm like, shit, this is a great story. You were born in Perry, literally. And, I kind of like to think of Perry like kind of my second adopted home, like we landed in Perry, and that's where my family, or a good portion of my family, is. We've been here more than we've been anywhere else. So, so it's a very interesting how, migration happens, and people talk about the negative aspects of it, but it's very rare when you hear the good part. Obviously, we know that we bring a lot of positivity and good things to this country, but a lot of people don't think that way. So this is just an amazing kind of story that your parents migrated to here to the United States. You're born, and now you're bringing a specialty coffee to the Midwest, which is pretty awesome. So let's talk a little bit about business. You're a producer, which at first I thought, okay, he's selling coffee, he wants to put his brand, coffee out, blah blah blah. But your approach to this is more, I have coffee, you want it in which way you want it, I sell it to you. Either green beans, right? To coffee shops. Well, tell us a little bit about how, because like it just seems like your approach is like, if you want coffee here, you can put a label on it, which we will. So that's our logo, and so it's not final yet, but so tell us what your approach is, like what your approach about this whole thing is.
So yeah, like you said, we sell green coffee,
Mm-hmm.
which is this here.
Uh-huh.
2 other roasters,
Uh-huh.
which is this is the raw. This is still a raw good, right? So
Okay.
This is still, let's say in Guatemala, it's been processed, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
It comes over here by boat,
Uh-huh.
ocean freight, And then this gets sold to roasters, who then roast it and turn it into their own good to serve to their coffee shop or etc. So that was our main business. That was how we started, right? That was the primary market that we wanted to tap into.
Okay.
We eventually started roasting, at home roasting ourselves a little bit on a small batch roaster, which we still do. And we started selling roasted coffee at the farmers markets in Perry and then a couple other local farmers markets. And people were always like, how do we get your coffee? Like, we love that idea. We want to support.
Right.
I'm like, well, we only sell green coffee. Unless you have a roaster at home, you can't do that. I was like, man, we can't. We have to, let the people try. So we started roasting. So
Okay.
now we wholesale roasted coffee in ground or in whole bean. So whole bean means this just roasted, right, before it gets ground.
How long does it take to roast a coffee?
A roast, it just depends if you want a light roast or a darker roast. I'm not the roaster. My brother roasts.
Okay,
but
okay.
It'll take about 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like super long.
Yeah. It gets roasted actually for like 4 minutes. But between you put it in, you roast it, then you got to let it cool. And then it's got so it's a few steps, and then you want to wait like 2 days for the coffee to degas. So the coffee lets out some natural gases. And so you want to.
Where do you roast it? In Perry?
At my house in Urbandale.
Oh, okay. You don't live in Perry? Oh, okay.
Nope. I live here in Des Moines, Urbandale.
Okay.
But
So, yeah, go ahead. So
we wholesale roasted coffee, but now we're doing a different approach, right? We're in a few retail stores. We have an online store as well. But we're moving towards the business to business approach.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
We're more end up producing coffee, manufacturing and distributing the bags like this already done. So we created a segment called Coffee for a Cause, where we want to do private labeling.
Okay.
So that's where we'll customize a bag for.
That's where this one comes in.
Yeah, that's where that comes in. So we'll customize a bag for a customer. For them to use either for branding or for fundraising, however they want to use it.
This is a great way to market your business.
Yep. So it's a unique strategy for our marketing, and but I mean we also want to help other businesses market themselves, right? So it's kind of like merchandising, right? Corporate merchandising.
Yeah.
You're already buying a T-shirt with your logo on it or a hat or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Instead, now it's just coffee.
Right.
So it might. Have more of a emotional effect, right, to your customers.
Yeah. And it's kind coffee. It's a good coffee.
It's good coffee, and it's what I like to call conscious capitalism.
Okay.
So,
tell me about that.
So that means like any business, right? It's all business, has to make some money, right? So, but we want to make sure that everyone's making money throughout the whole supply chain. So it's more of a conscious capitalism. So I guess it's just doing business the right way, sustainably, understanding, just try to make sure you're making a positive impact throughout the whole way.
Right.
Ethically, the most important thing is ethically.
Right. So people that are interested in this, you would say what? Like, it's obviously a specialty coffee. It's a good way to market your business. Then you say you have a nonprofit kind of avenue that people can do fundraising with it. What's your what's your vision? Where do you see this going?
So our vision is a full farm to cup coffee supply and distributor. So that's kind of why we tapped into producing ourselves, to distributing ourselves, to roasting ourselves, to now launching a coffee truck that I mentioned.
Okay, yes.
We'll be driving around in a mobile coffee truck, so people can find us there. You can book us for events. We can pull up to your corporate building. Our vision is to have our 5-year. We want to grow by at least one truck a year. I would say is a good goal. So our truck should be on the road by next month.
So mobile coffee instead of taco trucks, mobile coffee trucks.
Correct.
Okay.
So we have a lot of taco trucks that we love, but we need to have some more coffee trucks.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll be selling coffee trucks for people who don't like coffee. We'll be selling protein shakes, different alternative we're doing more of like of a healthier approach, right? So we'll be selling pastries, some healthy pastries, some acai bowls, some protein shakes, some coffee, you know, some light stuff. But I think our goal is to complete that full farm to cup production, right? And then expand with our mobile freight or with our mobile coffee trucks, and then just really expand with our roasting, you know, our roasting business, and then be able to create different, you know.
So if somebody wants to get into the coffee business and they're like, you know what, I want to have Amner's coffee, I can do it, right? I can connect with you and say, I'm going to start selling coffee and I'm going to go to Hy-Vee and tell them that I have this coffee.
Yep.
And you're just going to give me the beans.
I can. So we're.
Or like
I can do it.
You
all.
can do the whole thing.
Yeah, we'll we'll give you the beans. We'll supply the bags. We'll roast for you. We'll package and we'll create your own labels. And we even go as far as creating websites for our customers.
Yeah.
So our goal is to. So our goal is to empower and create opportunities throughout the whole supply chain.
This is business. Like, so somebody can start their own business right now.
Correct.
Like, you're the supplier.
Exactly.
I have the brand. I'm gonna sell my coffee. Why am I not doing this?
That's a good question.
But I see the potential here. Like, because everything is already done. You're doing most of it. You bring the brand and you push it, you know, yourself. You will provide the whole 90% to get there. That's wild. I want to talk to you in like a year or two and see where you are. Are you going to make that coffee that you said? Karate coffee?
Yeah, I think so.
The key is you know, is like you said, is sharing your story and letting people know.
Yeah.
People buy coffee every day.
Yes.
People buy coffee all the time.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, you know, when you walk, you know, I'll be completely honest, when you do walk through that aisle, there's a lot of competitors, right? So it's about what, you know, that's why we're not going, you know, the traditional retail store approach. You know, we want to do more word of mouth, more you know, networking, and more, you know, different styles of branding, and, you know, be more of a distributor.
Right. Yeah, everybody else can be the sales people. You just, here's the coffee, however you want it, green or grounded or whole beans, roasted, not roasted, like whatever you want. It's
what I tell people is, coffee is such a high demand. You know, it's a good alternative, right? People are addicted to coffee. It's better to be addicted to coffee than to be addicted to other things. But,
right.
But yeah, what I tell people is, you can stand out on the corner and just like you can stand out in the corner and say, hey guys, like, I'm selling these coffee beans, and I guarantee there's people who are
you just kind of like you just kind of like, give you the money, like, you know, pass the money, like, all right, man.
Yeah, you know, I'm your local caffeine dealer.
Yes,
you know,
local caffeine dealer. That's hilarious.
And but in reality,
get a pager, a beeper,
two phones.
Un beeper, wait. Yeah, oh my god.
But in reality, you could stand anywhere in the world.
Yes.
With 5 bags of coffee.
You will sell them.
Stand on the corner and you will sell them. It's up to you to put that
right.
The value's there. This is a great cup of coffee.
Yes.
And I will show you through how we did it throughout the whole way.
Yeah. That's wild.
And it's at the end of the day, like I told you, I mean, everything. This is a good cup of coffee. You're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah. Shit, man. Well, we should follow up in a year or two and see where you are. Maybe because I'm going to Guatemala this year, actually, for the first time since 1990. So yeah, first time. I don't know. Maybe when are you going? My dad's moving to Jutiapa soon. He lost his immigration status, so he's gonna retire and move back to Guatemala. He's got some land there too.
Oh wow!
Yeah, in Jutiapa, he's got a few acres.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
I think going soon. I mean, I plan to go actually at the end of this month, so I'll be down in Guatemala the first week of June. So.
Oh no, not that soon. You're like a modern day merchant, right? Like, this has been happening for thousands of years. where people are like walking around and like, yeah, I'll sell you this pound of beans, and in the markets, right? Like now you're just doing it. That's crazy.
Yeah, like people have been trading coffee for hundreds of years. So
That's wild, man. Well, it's very great story, and I'm proud of you, man. I don't think I need to wish you any luck because I honestly believe that you're gonna be a millionaire someday. So, just keep it up. Like,
keep sharing the story.
yeah,
I mean,
keep
I think
fucking sharing the story, man.
I think people see the value. I think they want people like you who are eager to support. I think that's what it takes.
Yeah.
As people say, no, that's where their will is. Let's help them out. Let's be a part of the success story. Because like you said, a year from now,
Yes.
it could be.
So what's the website? Like, how do coffee for a cause mobile at gmail.com. That's one.
That's one. Yep. www.mountainhighjzcoffee.com.
Okay.
So we can sell you there by the bags, or you can shoot us an email at mountainhighjzcoffee@gmail.com.
And we'll put the numbers, the numbers on the link and stuff like that. So are you on Facebook or Instagram?
Yep, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Mountain High JZ
Coffee.
Coffee.
Yep. So the JZ, so we want to be Mountain High Coffee, but obviously that's taken, so we just have to put JZ for
Okay,
our
okay.
last name. But that's our current distribution name, but we're moving our brand to Coffee for a Cause, the roasted brand anyway.
Okay.
Just because we want to support, we want to take it a step further, right?
Mm-hmm.
So along with not just serving an end product, but we want to be able to make an impact in the local community too.
Right. So you work with nonprofits.
Yeah,
So-
we'll work with nonprofits. We'll donate 50% of the proceeds to the nonprofit
Nice.
of our choice. So like if me and you want to team up and donate to a nonprofit, we could do that. If a nonprofit wants to reach out to fundraise, we can do that. We'll create custom bags for them, and then we'll all the proceeds will 50%.
Yeah, it's anything. You can do gifts or start your own business or fundraise or
That's the beauty in the product. Everyone loves
wild.
coffee.
Well, let's leave it at that, man. We'll follow up again. Walter, thank you for coming, and thank you for bringing coffee now to us. Now we don't. So and we're purchasing this. We're gonna do business together. So, anyways, thank you for coming, and we'll talk to you. We'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right, there you have it. Walter Juarez and his Guatemalan coffee. Guatemala. I say Guatemala, but it's Guatemala. Karate, karate.
Guatemala.
Either way, right?
Yeah.
Guatemala with you.
Guatemala with you, man.
So I want to thank Walter for coming. What did you learn about coffee?
A lot of shit. Also, stuff I didn't care about, but it was good. It was good.
Yeah, because you roast.
I mean, because like I love coffee, man.
Mm-hmm.
Say that I'm a coffee nerd. I mean, I'm interested in it, but it was like a lot. We learned a lot of shit.
So one of the things that I took away is that we have this every day, so it's
Right.
part of our life. It's kind of wild to think about that for like a second.
Right.
Like it's part of our life, and we just have it there, and like it's like nothing, But it has its origin.
It's taken for granted. I mean, it's
Totally.
just like many things that we take for granted. I know this is gonna sound weird, but like a toilet, we take it for granted.
Yeah.
Like how the flushing works, and then how like the turd goes away.
Yeah.
and, Like it's like magic.
Yeah.
If you think about it, if you were like a caveman and like you took your first dump and then just pull this lever and then the shit's gone.
It's magic.
Like, whoa.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And same thing with coffee. I
Yeah.
think we
It's
take it for granted.
it's a really rough kind of
I mean, it's not a
comparison.
But I mean, it's one of those things that we do take for
On a
granted.
daily
We
basis,
take
yeah.
like, where does it come from?
Yeah.
Like the good quality stuff. Where does it come from?
Right.
Right. And
Like a bed. Because
Right.
if we don't have a bed, then we sleep on the floor and it hurts.
right.
What else do we take everything for granted?
Yeah, we take a lot
We're
of shit for granted.
humans. We're the worst.
Yeah.
We take the
agree.
planet for granted. No, but in all seriousness, this is a great partnership. I'm really excited about it. I'm sure there's more ideas that are gonna come about. So we're just gonna keep on keeping on with Walter
Keep it
and
on.
Mountain High Jay-Z Coffee. Share this, tell people about it, connect with Walter. He's got many ideas to do business together. So this is a great way to, I mean, we buy coffee already, so why not buy the coffee from a
No
local
shit,
person?
Yeah. If you, like I said, and I think I said it in a previous podcast, like if you're one of those people that say, "Oh, support local," this is your opportunity
This is it.
to do so.
Yeah.
If you don't do it, then
You're just talking shit.
you punk ass. All right.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I got to go because my voice is starting to go away now. But I want to thank Walter, and stay tuned for more episodes of the Amner Martinez podcast. Pew, pew, pew.